Andrew, this 20% stake of Rosneft from BP, put into context for us how significant it is for BP to unload this.
Well, very significant, Danny. Yeah, it's a 20% stake in Rosneft. They haven't sort of said if they're going to sell or going to walk away, but they have said that it's possible they're going to take a $25 billion write-down. So that's obviously pretty massive. And it'll come as a pretty big shock to investors in BP, particularly given BP was just a few weeks ago staunchly defending its presence in Russia. It was actually one of the first oil majors into Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and it has the biggest presence there. But it seems to have come under a lot of political pressure from the UK government. The CEO, Bernard Looney, was summoned to a meeting with the UK Business Secretary late last week. Its shares are up about 15% this year, but there's obviously going to be a big drop when it opens later this morning.
Well, BP's exposure is obviously huge here, but of course, other Western energy companies also have exposure, from Equinor, which has said that it's pulling out of its Russian JVs, to Exxon. Are we expecting other energy companies to follow suit? Is this inevitable that everybody is going to be trying to remove their exposure from Russia in the oil space?
Yeah, so we've seen Equinor, as you mentioned already, announcing it's exiting its JVs. In terms of the other oil majors, it's hard to answer that with any certainty, but I mean, after BP, TotalEnergies probably has the most presence in Russia. Russian business accounts for around 5% of its cash flows. Shell has a holding in an LNG project with Gazprom. Chevron and Exxon have a presence in lubricants. Actually, a bank used by Exxon in Russia to pay its staff was one of the ones that was sanctioned. So, yeah, hard to say with any certainty. Will obviously depend on what kind of pressure these companies come under from their respective governments, Danny.